NAPSA is currently paying out the 20% partial withdrawal funds to eligible members, and the process has seen many people flocking to the NAPSA offices, and in the case of Lusaka, the number continues to increase as people want their something or money to help themselves out of the financial difficulties by enjoying their sweat while they can, as history shows that many people in the past have ended up dying while chasing their money. Monday, 24th April 2023, United Party for National Development UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde interacted with the beneficiaries to understand their difficulties in the process.
We thank God na mugomba ndira mashenu muri no kukoka paso so paricho tulero mbako kwe batamwe kalekana na mama yo mwana mpera tu kwa only 20% ni lazima na 10 kwacho tete kubezyo kai sana emiaka yo mwabomba ya.
Some people shared with Camnet News that the process is too slow as seen from the queues.
You can do this either online or you can come here physically. I for one, I think I tried it at first online. It couldn't work out, just twice or so. I was here this morning at 8, not before 8, no, by 8:30 I was here. And the queue by then I reached as far as Central Police there. In fact, we started from that far end. We have to go around up to here and we are still moving on. So basically the process is quite slow and pathetic. It's not good.
So it is because at least my tape was more than 10 so that one can go fast. Because I saying almost around 7 hours up to this time. So at least we talking to enforcement power.
Others fear that while pushing for the 20% partial withdrawal, they may end up losing their current jobs.
Oro uma company muntu muturebo mbe bakupera 2 days oro kwisa sangati 2 days amara inze haya rikuta ukwishi so vinafikara kwa tobo ape futi netwabiri ya company so kanchi ndana hapo nshira imo ya kwa at least umuntu wapokea kwa mfuka.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mwinde has called on the NAPSA management to accommodate the recommendations being made by the people.
They are proposing and they have recommendations that which I believe if management is to genuinely look into them, the recommendations are also varied. They are recommending and requesting that if at all many tables and outlets which may be, if they may be introduced so that they can help speed up the process, because many of the people that are here are from private companies and enterprises that which may not give them 1 week to be coming and going back without response. So that being the case, we also as citizens that are following up on the NAPSA issues with keen interest to making sure that service delivery is as smooth as His Excellency and his cabinet intends it to be.
Our efforts to get the perspective of NAPSA could not materialize before broadcast time. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Independence, Zambia's health sector, despite making significant progress in some areas, is still viewed as far from attaining Vision 2030 of ensuring good health and well-being for all by some stakeholders due to various alleged irregularities within the sector. Chief among the problem has been the lack of medicines, which was a highly debated topic until recently, as the problem has been addressed by the provision of medicines and other medical supplies, which has been happening in various districts across the country in the past few weeks. The distribution of medicines and medical supplies is being done in response to the target of the Ministry of Health, which is to provide equitable access to cost-reflective quality health services as close to the family as possible. However, a pharmaceutical expert, Mr. Jerome Kanyika, feels that the distribution of medicine alone without extra security measures to safeguard the same may not yield the desired results. In an interview, Mr. Kanyika notes that to date, more shortages of drugs happen in the dispensary, hence the need to move to the electronic method of dispensing medicine.
Once we have the medicine coming from the storeroom, they go in a dispensary. And this is where now most of the health workers, they get the medication from. That's it. you find that someone works for a government institution, but they have the medication in their homes. How do they find themselves with those medications? It's where we have a problem, and we need to tighten up that loophole. We may talk of people stealing the medication to sell. Some they get this medication to go keep at their homes, which is also very, very much wrong. So we need to go further by making sure that we go the electronic way in terms of dispensing of this medication.
He notes that the same has been done in other African countries such as South Africa and is working efficiently to abet the theft of public medicines.
It happens in South Africa, it happens in Botswana, it happens in Namibia, because we need to account for every coin that the government spends to procure these medications. Without that, then we have a big problem, and will not be able to curb the drugs that go missing.
He has further implored the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority ZAMRA to heighten inspections in various pharmacies across the country, stating that most pharmacies are not manned by qualified pharmacists, which is an abrogation of the law. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
These are the residents of Freedom A compound in Monze, Southern Province, looking at the familiar face that has become caught in an unclear circumstance. The deceased, identified as Dorika Kaumba, went missing on Friday last week on the 22nd of April 2022, and later she was found buried at a nearby refuse bay within the area. Residents spoken to when the police came to pick up the body have attributed the scourge in criminal activities to unproductive youths who are said to have gone on rampage, terrorizing innocent citizens. The death of Dorika Kaumba has sent shivers, especially among women.
Ono twagomba najamba kuti ba polisi banigulonda nganda anganda masigu gabatoni bokambo maumaba magayintu tabera ninguzu abasangwa kambo bayitabu mino twenda masigu no bantu wenda utwalibona 20 hours yakwana golebe ujogera pokala kino kindi potupona maumito basimbi abijja bamasangwa bambita bachikwa ngwamba yabasimbi taunke unganda wa musimbi batebo musimbi wenda masigu zindi twenda masigu tuliya gwamba tunapendi anda windanzira alasalala ayimtulirange gwamba kuti ingande yotukala mu mambali mbalanzira tababambite bamanganda.
Other residents spoken to say landlords should ensure that they accommodate tenants who are productive to avoid having idle minds in the community.
Security and cheaper. Not to cheaper such that even if you want to run a community where the people to blame. Mozapeza kuti pawani nyumba unkarava mamuna vari 5 over 6 they don't wait, but you the landlord what you are only interested in kutenga ndarama na kuti my one is just as we are. Me I'm staying here. My house was broken into last week at 9 hours. Neighbors were there. Where the person who stole is before the next house. He goes away with the property. Off he goes.
Tukabyokukanana mukati muchoko chino chakwamba kuti twenda kulomba security kuzaku hurumende babikire mano masimpeni vantu balamana kuwa mukati muchimo chiyonera kamba you find that kunji bana bajangi basangwa kunyina choba boneka kuti choba chita but bala survive so bamalanders abalo baligisi ipenzi lipatila kujana kuchita accommodate bantu batabwene kwamba kuti babereka kule. So we are appealing to the government kwamba kuti kabatutumina security inji kuti kaba patrol masiku together my neighbors kaba tukulanga kuti ino bapona kuti kamboka kuti twapenga maningi majanka akubidwa too much.
Meanwhile, area headman Choice Mayambu has called for intensified police patrols to safeguard people's lives and property.
Maningi kuti twapona bobo mujisinga twapona mbuli banyama onondo mbabo yokuti ibantu abalilemege mugati mumawo mimoto pona kambo jiri bobo tajigo jikuti jaindirira abantu balapona mbuli banyama alimu then jintu jaindirira number 1 ndomba maningi bantu bala manda ayale ntimwaye pagayaga manda wamba kuti aya manda gatwetera mapenzi najira kwenga bayimulawo alimwamulawo tuberegera ntomwe aya manda ataliga kudimulumwa alimwa abikwe bantu balamana kamusi yaretereo tibana bakaraji bunga munini mumanda tauni yonse ya monze twanyongana umbwanko unka ataraji bunga ono twali bulombo yagamba kuti kurumende yalo ipange muzezo na mulawo wagamba kuti bajanika bantu babakaraji bunga gabangwa.
Police in the area picked up the body while residents looked on without answers to what exactly happened. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News.
Berets on, boots tied, and guns loaded, men and women in uniform in Lusaka are leaving no stone unturned in fighting criminals who have been terrorizing community members. An operation conducted in Lusaka has led police officers to this hideout for 30 criminals between Nasdaq and East Park Mall who have been behind the spark in criminal activities around this area, including at the University of Zambia, where most students have been attacked and their properties stolen. Lusaka Province Police Commissioner Kreto Kanza, who led journalists to the hideout, says 9 criminals have so far been arrested and that one has already been identified by a victim who was attacked around 20 hours at East Park Mall.
Where we are here, this is a hideout for a gang of criminals that has been terrorizing Lusaka, attacking people, especially those that are coming from East Park Mall and also University of Zambia. As you can see here that this is Kalingalinga, and the students, some of them have boarding houses there. So when they go there in the late hours, they are attacking by these criminal thugs. So we picked, yesterday we picked 9. And just yesterday, again Chawama, we apprehended 87.
The commissioner also says the suspects are believed to have been behind the murder of a Levi Mwanawasa medical student earlier this year at the University of Zambia, where he was in the company of his cousin.
That they may be, we believe they are suspected to be those that caused the attacked the Levi Mwanawasa university student. You remember early this year, the 2 students were attacked and we lost life there.
So we urge the students to be careful. We want to mention the surrounding here does not favor anyone to move late in the night. You can see, so we urge our colleagues, the students, to always be careful, not to move when it's dark, because it poses a security threat to anyone. So this is a message that we are sending to the student out there.
Meanwhile, police have also arrested 4 health workers, among them 2 lab technicians, a driver and a general worker, for the theft of medical kits worth 2.8 million kwacha, which were destined for Matero Level 1 hospital and other health facilities in the district.
It's believed that these people that they've been going to the provincial office for requisition of medical supplies. So now, before they could deliver to the clinic, that is Chipata Level 1 hospital, they could deliver less. After getting more from the provincial office and district office, then they deliver less to the clinic and the hospital respectively. So far we have 4 in custody in relation with the theft of these drugs. They are valued at 2.8 million.
The men and women in uniform have since sent a strong warning to would-be offenders, including gang members locally known as junkies, to be on the lookout. Reporting for Camnet TV News.
That by-elections are a justifiable, costly democratic undertaking, they are used to weigh the popularity of political parties on the ground. The governing United Party for National Development UPND scooped all the 3 April 20, 2023 ward by-elections in Salenje, Chililabombwe and Lupososhi, although the opposition Patriotic Front claims that the elections were not free and fair. But social scientist Innocent Kolala has observed that the PF is losing ground due to lack of leadership. He has observed that the PF risks losing its position to the opposition Socialist Party led by Fred Membe or the Citizens First Party, which is led by Hari Kalaba.
Is the issue of leadership. You know, the Patriotic Front, it is leading itself without a leader, and it becomes very difficult. I passed through in all these 3 by-elections. Sadly, none of those 8 presidential candidates even dared to step their foot there. So it becomes very difficult. Not even the secretariat, I think, were present there, which led, of course, people remaining without anybody to support them. It was very, very sad, whereby the ruling political party, it unleashed almost in all the three wards, cabinet ministers camped there. They were staying there, showing solidarity with the people in those areas, and henceforth the people appreciated the message from the ruling political party.
And Mr. Kolala regrets that pockets of political violence witnessed in the just ended ward elections contributed to among the reasons some people could not turn up to vote.
As a country, we have chosen ourselves as provided for in our constitution, the preamble, that we need to live within the tenets of democracy. And tenets of democracy entails people's participation. But there are certain issues which hinders people to participate in democracy. Among such is violence, like what transpired in Salenje, where, of course, the UPND, they had to crash with the Socialist Party. This led or sent shivers to a lot of participants there who were supposed to go and participate in an election, because they started fearing to say, if such kind of fracas could happen before the date of voting, how about when you go for voting? It will be something else. Please, Zambians, such kind of attitude and life, it needs to be, I think it needs to be watched, because people need to choose the person of their own choice.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Hello there, lovely. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Joe Smata. Remember, you are watching us live on DSTV, Go TV, as well as on Facebook, that is Camnet TV. Search for the page, like it, and be sure to leave a comment. Now, that was our segment known as Forgotten Stories. You might forget, we don't forget. Those are some of the stories that we aired 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And in case you've forgotten, we are here to refresh your memory. However, let's get into it. Our guest is already on set, and today we delve into looking at the role of advocates in the Zambian political space, or the role of activists, if you like, in the Zambian political space. My guest this afternoon is a good governance advocate, Mr. Dennis Mutumba, a face that is no stranger to Camnet. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Joe. Good afternoon, viewers, wherever they're watching us from.
Okay, Mr. Mutumba, without much further ado, let's get into it. There has been a concern from members of the public that you, the activists, the advocates, are vocal when you have not been given fritters to chew on. Once fritters are offered to you, you begin to chew, you fail to talk. What am I talking about? We are talking about you, the activists, being silent when a carrot is dangled towards you. You could be appointed as a commissioner. You could be appointed as a nominated member of parliament or as a permanent secretary. Then you keep quiet. You forget what you used to advocate for. You know the concerns that are coming from the members of the public. Let's get into it. What happens?
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you so much, viewers, wherever you're watching us from. I think advocacy and activism is a selfless duty that one voluntarily stands to speak for the people.
Okay.
Okay, that is now lobbying for reconciliation between the people and the government or the leadership. So now the challenge that we have in Africa is that we have very few selfless activists and also advocates, because mainly when people are joining activism, they expect to gain instead of, sacrificing to represent the people, to stand on their behalf between the government and the people according to the provision of the human rights in the Constitution. So we have seen many advocates and activists. Let me just put it to the activists, especially before UPND was ushered into government. We saw a number of people that were vocal, people that stood to criticize the government, especially the previous government. Some were even arrested. But the moment UPND won, they are nowhere to be seen, they've disappeared. We have a number of people that have been appointed, as we have just indicated, that when they're given fritters to chew, they no longer speak. I was a friend to Comrade, Chamafumba, which is, a Capilato. He's been very vocal. He spoke so well on behalf of the people, criticized the government. He was even put in custody time to time. But he behaves as though he does not exist. It is because a carrot was put in his mouth. He has gone
into oblivion?
All right, my sister, Laura Miti, she's been very firm, but sometimes at least Laura Miti, once upon a time, she's able to make checks and balances because she's now a Commissioner of Human Rights. But we want to see those that are appointed to serve in the government, appointed when they are activists. They must continue to remind the government, whether silently or publicly, so that people see we have people that can stand for the people everywhere. These are people who are seeing other people being mistreated by law enforcement agencies. They can't even speak out. Look at the situation. Quite all right, we agree that security wing are mandated to arrest those that they suspect to have committed crimes. The incident of our brother who was picked in the church, and they went further to go to his house, broke his home.
Are you referring to Mr. Mbaya?
Yes. Such acts are not welcome in a country, a democratic country like Zambia. We want to see activists saying, no, it is not good. That person has a family, that person has a church. Why go to him in that manner as if he's a murderer? It takes a lawyer to be approached in that manner, but a person who has just a common crime, it doesn't matter, you know, the degree of that, you know, offense he might have committed, but there could have been a way to handle that issue. Me as an advocate, I'm against that act, and it is not right, and I think Zambia police should apologize. We know that person is declared innocent until proven guilty by the court of law. We can't have police officers, you know, servicemen going during church service in the presence of the congregants and the family. It's not right.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mtumba, you are an advocate. Why are you the advocates, the activists, silent on the matter that has to do with amnesty for corruption, where we are seeing individuals surrendering property or monies to the state? They will rightly tell you through their lawyers that we entered into an agreement with this investigative wing, with these state prosecutors, if you like, and hence this individual has to forfeit this certain amount to the state, or these properties, name them flats, houses in Kingsland. We have heard all these stories, but let me ask you, is amnesty against corruption undermining the fight against corruption itself?
Let us join the government in fighting corruption, especially us who speak and represent the people, and we are the voice of the voiceless. I'm joining the government in recovering assets suspected to be, you know, proceeds of crime. Though we must be very careful as we handle matters to do with, you know, corruption. We must have thorough investigation, and we must have tangible evidence. The forfeiture provision, I think we talked about it some few days ago. The forfeiture provision is where I'm found with assets or property or monies that I cannot account for. I should be in the position to explain where and how I acquired this money. But in a case that I fail to account for the money that I'm found, I have properties, I can't even declare how I managed to acquire such, you know, huge sums of money, properties, and assets. The provision in the Anti-Corruption Act allows one to forfeit his or her monies, properties, and assets to the government. And I'll be let to go. I'll be protected, I'll be given immunity not to be prosecuted.
Why giving immunity to somebody who has seemingly admitted to have committed a crime? Because at the end of the day, Mr. Mtumba, if you are a successful businessman, you should be able to keep receipts of your transactions, Mr. Mtumba. You want to conduct your business diligently because you are afraid of your reputation being dented out there. Why are we seemingly allowing people that have clearly committed crime go scot-free in the name of giving them amnesty against corruption?
That is where this government should, I think, do things that will make Zambians appreciate that they were indeed in power to reduce corruption, to do away with corruption, because there are many that have been let go who committed, you know, crimes of corruption. Now, the problem is the law that protects these people. When they enter into a consent agreement between the AAC and also Drug Enforcement Commission, or whichever security wing is involved to handle such matters, this provision is in the ACC Act. You and me, we can be found with assets, as I've indicated earlier on. You know, once we fail to declare, there were devices. Can we go into a consent? Let us go this way to agree that you forfeit your assets and monies to the state. Okay, in fearing to be prosecuted or jailed. But it's unfair. It's unfair, as you have indicated. How would I be acquiring assets, huge assets, big properties without documentation. There must be a channel. If I'm building flats, there could be monies that pass through the bank. There could be monies that are also monitored by ZRA. You get the point? But where the bank have no information about my monies, of course I may have an account. For example, I had an account with Invest Trust. You find that my account, I last withdrew 5,000 maybe 3 months ago, but I have properties that were built maybe for so many years without channeling the money in the bank, because the moment my money gets into the bank, ZRI also pick a little, because that's why I have a TPIN. But now it's a sign that the previous government was a little bit reckless. Most people, powerful businessmen, high-profile people, kept money in their homes, and this money, we are asking ourselves, where was this money coming from?
But Mr. Mtumba, are you not being unfair to the Zambian people and to the previous government? Because even under this administration, we have seen videos circulating where monies were being shared on a table, which forced a minister, a named minister under this same administration, to resign from his position. And that was a few weeks ago after ZRA Commissioner General indicated that it's hard for certain individuals to pay taxes and it's hard to tax the mines. And this transaction involved a mining company, and this transaction was happening on a table. Where were the banks? Where were ZRA? So, does this mean what used to happen previously is also happening in this administration, from your observation?
It has continued. It has continued, and up to now, that story is buried. You've just brought it up because we are discussing.
Because we don't forget in the media. We don't forget.
Media has records, and they've kept record for many years. And at one point, they will be able to share these clips. Now, that clips shows that the former minister who resigned because of the same clip was already practicing corruption. Why didn't that money go through his account? And the payee, why did they have such huge sums of money? So if these people were able to act in the same manner they're acting now, many governments are becoming very reckless. They don't have principles on how we can protect finances, because if people are keeping monies in their homes, there will be no revenue. All of us, we pay tax. This is the more reason we criticize those that are found wanting, because the monies that they are using, the monies that they are trying to abuse, it is our money. We are not benefiting at all. So now we are looking forward to the government to put up laws that will protect the currency from, people stopping from banking. So now, the major problem is that people that have political influence, they're very difficult to control, because we have reckless leaders who are so compassionate, because those that they put in offices are their relatives, are their friends. So it's hard to hammer a rat on top of millimeter.
Okay, let me ask you this question, and I'm basing this question on what one of the daily tabloids reported last week, Thursday or Friday. And I keep on repeating this question because I need a conclusive answer. Are we seeing politicians cutting deals with their business associates, with their relatives, with their acquaintances, in the name of corruption amnesty?
Most politicians are very corrupt. The more reason they vie for those positions to get into politics is to have access to businesses, is to have access to deals. And they know
so it's business
why they cannot amend this provision is that all of them, they will be affected. Remember, there are parliamentarians who wished and moved a motion in parliament to come up with a law of lifestyle.
Audit.
There are people that are living in luxury when the people that voted and entrusted them to give them a mandate to stand on their behalf are suffering, whilst then they're making huge sums of money. And when it is to put up laws that are very fair, they would not do so because they feel they will be the most affected people. You understand? Remember last time I said, if you are to check most politicians, you audit them today, you find that they are all corrupt.
What makes you say so, Mr. Mtumba?
This is the truth. And this is the truth that most politicians will not like. But me as an advocate...
Don't you think they are clean politicians
they aren't
that
clean.
practice
If there is one who is
politics?
clean, Joe, if there is one who is clean, we praise God, but most of them, they have dirty deals.
May the soul of our late President KK rest in peace. Are you suggesting that we do not have a politician who is as white as KK's handkerchief? They are all stained.
I want to tell you the truth that may KK rest in the arms of the Lord. We remember his good works that he did for this country called Mother Zambia. But I want to tell you, if you are to go deep down the roots of KK properties and assets, you would find that at one time they abused public resources.
In the UNIP government?
It doesn't matter whether it is UNIP, it doesn't matter whether it is MMD, it doesn't matter whether it is PF, it doesn't matter whether it is UPND. The truth is that a number of politicians are crooks. And I want to tell you, there is a proverb, an African proverb, that in politics you cannot get rich unless you are a crook.
Mr. Mtumba, based on that, the now director, no, the now board chairman for the Anti-Corruption Commission, Council Musa Mwenye, in a clip that went viral prior to 2021, I think he had an interview on one of our sister media houses where he said that the time that he worked in government, he was using his own money, and the time that he left government, the way he got in, that's how he came out. And he made a statement that really caught my eye and still catches my eye to this day. He said, and I quote, "If you get into government and leave government rich, then you've been stealing, because you can't get rich from working in government." End of quote. Fast forward, we have seen individuals that were lining up the streets, individuals that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, didn't have anything to their name. Today, they are swimming in money. They are big boys.
Yes.
They are big sharks. Where is this money coming from, Mr. Mtumba?
Some of the monies are coming from corrupt investors who are trying to seek favor from political influential figures.
Isn't that wrong?
It isn't wrong. You know, politicians take advantage of their status and position, you know, to use a crooked way to acquire wealth. I will tell you, some of the youths in the current government that were nobods were struggling, you know, maybe, you know, driving Corolla vehicles today.
Not even driving, let us not even go there.
Okay, maybe even if they were not driving, but today you can see they are driving Hilux, they're driving Land Cruisers,
Mazda BT50,
mansions, they're shareholders. Now, politics attracts, you know, certain, you know, opportunities. These are opportunities when you ask such people who are just walking on foot, like me, and now today they're driving, you know, prestigious vehicles. They will tell you that, no, I never even went to them. They just came to me that we are giving you shares. How could it be? Why are they not coming to me?
That story sounds familiar.
You get the point. How do somebody says, no, we want to give you shares?
How do they identify you?
How do they even identify me? So there are certain, you know, representatives of the political parties that have access to go to the president, and the corrupt investors, they would use these people to, you know, to get links through the president. We are dealing with a project today that wants to bring, you know, energy. Okay, we are trying to see how best can we meet the president to discuss and engage these investors so that maybe it can reduce load shedding. I've already received a number of calls, you know, more than enough, that we are people that are supposed to take you to the president. I haven't yet met the president. I'll be going to South Africa to meet these investors, to bring them here so that they meet the leadership, and so that maybe the leadership, if they agree, to their technical explanation, maybe this would help this country, because that hydropower station that will be put, it can cushion energy in 2 provinces. You get the point?
Okay.
Now, when I shared this information to some of the people that needs to link me, either to the minister, the Energy Regulation Board, there is already a number of calls. Imagine, why are they calling me?
Middlemen?
These are middlemen. But I said, no, I just need
They want
access.
to take you to the head of state?
Yes, but I'm trying to say, can't I go myself and explain to the president? The president will make a link through his administration. It's okay, that is a good project, because this project, when it comes, it has to be paid for 20 years. The government will be paying, but will be using the plant to supply energy. But I can see the way they are calling me already. It's a sign that they want to make money.
Okay.
Because it's a project that is costing almost close to $100 million.
Okay, so
now I'm just giving an example of this situation, because this is what happens. A number of politicians that are supporting UPND, PF, their interest is not to bring good government, is just to make money for themselves. Do you know why they are complaining that, no, this government is not fair, this government is not giving us a job? Their interest, they never sacrifice the way we sacrifice as activists, to speak issues that benefits the people. To them, supporting a party is to earn at the end of the day.
But even you,
and
the
I'm
activists,
speaking the truth.
Even you, the activists, Mr.
Yes.
Mtumba, once a carrot is dangled in front of you, once fritters have been served and you begin to chew, if tumbua, you keep quiet.
But I'm a businessman.
We are not saying.
No, listen, I'm a businessman. If I was a person that is a dependent to beg, I would have been asking people that maybe are financially sound. But I'm using my own earned money, and for a very long time I've been using my own earned money just to speak for the people. Traveling outside the country.
Argument, Mr. Mtumba. That would be somebody else's argument.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I want to stand for the truth, I should continue as an advocate.
Mr. Mtumba.
The more reason, now before you come to that question, the more reason
in line with that, are you also looking for a job?
Why
in this government?
No, I'm better off, because if it was looking for a job, I'm paid more than even the DC.
Oh, you've talked about DC level, ministerial position. In this government,
I'm not looking for a job.
You are offered a job as a minister.
What job will they offer me as a minister? Leaving their own people to make me stop talking? No, I won't accept that.
We have seen such happening in successful
If it has happened
to individuals,
let them give me a position where I will stand so neutral to represent the government and the people. I would accept.
Okay.
That's why I was removed on my position, which we keep on mentioning.
You can't run away from it. Yeah. You can't run away from it. You are the CDF chairperson.
If it was money, because I left without even a single coin. If you audit me today, you find that I never even had a chance to get any single way. I'm a clean man.
Okay.
And I've continued to survive better than I was whilst I was holding that position. So if it is money, I want to tell you, I think people who knows me, I'm a generous person. I raise money from my own source and invest it to speak just for the people. I sponsor programs, Joe. The radio stations, I sponsor them. Even when I'm not featuring, I would give them money. Sooner or later, maybe I should be able to sponsor Camnet, donate something, in fact not sponsoring, donating something, so that this media house continues to speak on behalf of the people, connecting both the government and the people.
We are looking forward to that.
You get the point? So if we are trying to support a political party in order for us to be given a job, then we are missing a point. We are people that will be caught tomorrow because we'll quickly get into stealing public funds instead of saving, because leadership is being selfless.
Okay. Still on matters of corruption, something is brewing at Football House. There are corruption allegations there. DEC has gotten involved, and you know for a fact that when you see the Drug Enforcement Commission knocking on your door, just know that there's something that you've done regarding money laundering activities. Issues at FADS. We are hearing people forfeiting their property, their monies. Now what is coming from the Auditor General's report is that there was a contract that was awarded worth 4.5 million United States dollars. However, it was inflated to 70 million United States dollars for a supply of certain items, and these items were never supplied.
But
the money was paid.
Whom do we blame here?
Whom do we blame, Mr. Mtumba?
Corruption is too much in this country, and it will take time for this country to develop, because you know, those that are in the new political party that is governing now are thirsty because they are envying what others were doing in the previous government. How could it be a contract that was awarded worth 4.5 million inflated to 70 plus million US dollars?
Yes, sir.
Whom do we blame? We blame the government. The ZPPA has a mandate. That is a national procurement institution that guides the government on a price index. You get the point, eh? I was once trained, whilst I was a leader of a subcommittee of the government on procurement. This is where most funds were gotten from, because there were no principles on awarding contracts.
Okay.
The number of former government officials, ministers, directors, you understand, MPs, even councillors, that got contracts which were ghost contracts. When I say that these are ghost contracts, I mean getting money, a down payment of 25% from the total sum of that tender. They prepare all the documents. When you go to ZPPA, you find that documents are there, that contracts were awarded. Go on the site. These contracts are not there.
Is this the same thing with Tumpa University,
Yes.
FTJ University in the northern
Millions of dollars were given to the contractor. But go on the site. I think it's within.
But when
the spaces of
individuals are
millions.
found wanting, Mr. Mtumba, when individuals are found wanting, they enter into a consent agreement while they begin to forfeit monies. Why can't we start seeing people queuing up, going to the courts of law, convicted, queuing up, going to jail?
But
why can't we see that in this
country? How do they
country?
go to jail when that provision of forfeiture protects and gives immunity to those that are found wanting, so long they forfeit their assets to the state?
My question to you, as an activist,
there must be a law. Before you ask me that question, we'll be talking about the same thing all the time. So long this provision in the law still stands, it will protect those that forfeit. Because you enter an agreement with them. Okay, sign here, recover this money. How much do you have? 70 billion US dollars. All right, bring it here. You are it free. Because the law says so. When we scrap off that provision, those that are found with assets that they cannot declare or account for, it's automatic that the law will take its course. They must be jailed. But so long that provision is there, we'll be talking as media houses, we'll be talking as activists, nothing will happen, because it must be changed. We need to amend it so that those who forfeit, who fail to account for their properties or assets, they must face the wrath of the law, because you cannot have billions of kwacha when majority 20 million people are in poverty.
Mr. Mtumba, issues to do with load shedding, why haven't we seen you, the activists, urging the powers that be to maybe take a more proactive approach towards putting in mitigating measures to help the Zambian people at least maybe be load shedded for 2 hours and not the 8-hour schedule that in most cases is never followed? Why is there loud silence from the activists yourselves?
We need more voices, but we look at the situation to do with load shedding. UPN is facing a second load shedding. The first one was just when they got into office. It took the president to go to Mamba to go and check Karibadam because he felt he was misinformed. Now, we remember our president, whilst he was in opposition, he said load shedding is not acceptable. Why should it be acceptable now? What do they think? The PF government, during the time of load shedding, were they doing it deliberately? The answer is no. The source of energy that we depend on comes from Kariba, comes from water sources. So when there is climate change that is affecting the rains, which fuels all these rivers that we depend on to generate energy, they are not two ways about it. When the water reduces, you have no option. You will have less electricity because the energy creation will be less because water levels will have gone down. Chapita pamzako mairo chiripaliwe. Amdala enzokamba kuti no road shedding is not acceptable. Chabafikira lero. The only thing that we are admonishing the government of the day is, to diversify in the energy sector without depending only on electricity generated from the water sources. Okay, so we want this government now to learn a lesson that now that they're in government, road shedding has continued. Okay, whether they gave us 4 hours to 8 hours, the truth is that road shedding has affected a lot of economic activities. So we want this government to think broader, to think big about energy, because energy, as you are aware, it adds value to our economy. Industries will not perform the way they are performing, meaning it will also cause for job reduction. Most people will be laid off because there is no activities. Activities that are there are not there because there is no power. So the point here is, let this government invest more money into energy. Away from electricity, what other sources of energy are we going to have? This is a project I'm talking about. I hope it will not be politicized, because the one who is trying to link the government and the engineers that wants to install that plant is an individual who is against the government. Maybe sometimes it doesn't speak well against the government. But such developments must be welcomed, because it is more like a loan.
Politics aside.
Politics aside. If I'm speaking development, then let everyone embrace what I'm talking about and digest it.
But what, just on that one, why haven't we seen from successful governments, why haven't we allowed, for instance, dissenting voices when they are dissenting voices, quite all right, but there's something that you can pick from that dissenting voice. Why haven't we allowed even people that do not support you, for instance, if you're a political party, if they've got a brilliant idea, to tap into that? I'm talking, for instance, about the professor from UK who wanted to come with locomotives. Is it 10 years ago?
Yes,
yes, we didn't see that materialize. He was brought here, he was frustrated. You know the story. He went back. We have prominent Zambians that are running mines, for instance, in Chile, that are doing well. Why can't we allow them to invest, to give their expertise to this country and begin to grow it, as opposed to leaving political parties with their so-called agendas that at the end of the day do not even benefit the majority Zambians? Surely, we have seen this happening for the 6 years that this country has been independent, Mr. Mtumba. Can't we aspire for transformative leadership as activists? I'm putting it to you.
In my view, I think we need inclusive policy, where you don't look at how one is affiliated, or maybe should we only be getting advices, or maybe information of development only from the people that are affiliated to the ruling party.
Should that be a case?
That should not be. Equally, me, if I'm providing information that can bring development for the sake of good governance, I must be accommodated. I've been trying to meet the president several times. I've gone to State House to seek for an appointment. It has always been fully booked. I was trying to imagine to say, but I know I'll be arrested.
You'll be arrested.
The thing is, I have a lot of issues that I cannot float to the government, to the president himself, because he is the head of the state. When I talk to him in a number of issues, I think he can pick one thing and leave. It's not that maybe when I go to State House, I'm seeking for money. No.
You are seeking for an appointment.
I'm not seeking for an appointment. I'm simply seeking that the president should hear me, because even when I'm speaking, do you know that media houses are doing a good job to allow us to speak? And I want to feel that every discussion that we discuss, it is gotten to State House. Or maybe they ignore what we say.
But are politicians receptive to the information that you, the activists, churn out? Are politicians advisable?
They aren't. They aren't advisable.
Then why do we elect them? Why do we give them chances?
Because when they
can't
ignorant.
listen, when they can't listen to the people that voted
they
for them.
capitalize on our ignorance. Do you know that politicians are psychologists? People who reads our mind. They understand our ignorance. That's why they come to show that they are very remorseful, very humble, very meeky. They would even roll down, pleading, please vote for me.
We have seen them do that. We have seen them do that.
That clapping the moment they are into office, they are busy. Have you ever found a politician with one phone?
No, sir.
Politicians have 2, 3 phones. Ask me why. They have this line for people just asking money. They have this line for the minister and the president. They have this line for their private deals.
Numbers change.
Numbers changes. No, they don't change numbers. They don't just speak. When you ask them, they'll tell you, no, I'm busy with meetings. Hey, how could these leaders be in meetings all the time?
Mr. Mtumba, we only have a minute. As we go, Mr. Mtumba, what should be done? What should be done to put Zambia on the right trajectory where in the next 10 years we should have a facelift as a country? We should have a new building, for instance, not only Findeco, that was built pre-independence. It's laughable, but these are serious matters. And again, when you visit other countries, then you come back to your country, you feel like you're in a strange land, because it's appalling that as a country we've remained 150 years behind other countries that emerged after us as a country. How do we recognize honest, hardworking, transformative leaders, and leaders that do not have any iota of corruption in them, that do not tolerate corruption, that have no tolerance, if you want, for corruption? Because our discussion today was based on corruption and also your role as activists in the fight against corruption in the Zambia political space.
We want to see a new Zambia under the new dawn, but it's unfortunate that they can't do anything in a 5-year mandate because of corruption.
Are you suggesting that they need another mandate?
They need another mandate. It will be very disappointing to allow UPND only to rule for 5 years. We are remaining with 1 year, some months, to go to general election. Look at what UPND has scored. They are finding it very hard to change things drastically because of, issues of corruption. We are looking at, how do we revive our economy? The dollar is just getting up all the time. The dollar is just, gaining. Our kwacha is depreciating. Our money has become, valueless. It has no value. Now, when you talk about the high-tech building, when you look at, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to Kenya, Nairobi. That country is very beautiful.
Tanzania here.
Tanzania. Look at the technology that is there. But I want to tell you, PND cannot build any high-tech building.
Why?
They can't manage now because they're still handling the base of economy.
Mr. Mtumba, are you advocating for the UPND to have another term?
I'm simply telling you that they cannot make any change where infrastructure is concerned because time is gone. That does not mean that I'm advocating that, they should continue.
They had the
but if it was me, to be more honest, is that we try to give Hakainde Hichilema another chance.
Mr.
Because if we don't do, if we don't do so, even the next president will also fail. Because the period of reviving our economy that should build infrastructure is too short.
Mr. Mtumba, I'm afraid we have to go. You are talking about infrastructure. They need also, as the UPND, to build the Lusaka Ndola Joe carriageway. in the remaining 1 year, 6 months?
It's a project they found, and they were only arguing with the figures.
Okay.
Which finally they managed to reconcile the figures, and the project was commissioned.
Okay, Mr. Mtumba, we need to go. My director has signaled to me that time flies when you're having a progressive discussion.
Yeah.
It normally happens on the lunchtime cafe. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Okay, there you have it, viewers. Thank you, the major stakeholder, the viewer, for having chosen us amongst many and for tuning in to the lunchtime cafe this afternoon. Hope this particular discussion has opened your eyes. I hope it was progressive, and hope, most importantly, it has informed you in one way or the other. I have been your host, Joe Smarter is my name. Now, on behalf of the entire production team, including my director, Mr. Isaac Chifita, it's bye-bye. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember, keep it Camnet. Good afternoon.